All right, this is lesson 18-2, and this actually is going to cover the next couple lessons in one. So we're going to start with a bit of review from just using the distributive property to help us solve equations. And as I'm going, if you guys, you need to pause it as needed to catch up and things like that, that's okay. So first thing we're going to do, since we have no like terms already that are on either side, we're going to distribute and rewrite it. So we get 4x minus 8 equals x plus 10. Then we look at our terms with the variable and look at the coefficient that is smaller. In this case, this x here just has a coefficient of 1, and this other one has 4. So we're going to subtract x on both sides. We get 3x minus 8 equals 10. Then we're going to add 8 to both sides so that our constants are now on the other side. 3x equals 18. We divide both sides by 3, and x equals 6. We can go back in here and check our answer. If we put a 6 for x, we would get 6 minus 2, which is 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. Again, if we put a 6 for the x on the other side, 6 plus 10 is also 16, and that checks out. Okay, same process will be applied to this next one, only we're going to distribute a fraction. So we're taking our knowledge of working with fractions, applying it now to solving equations. We're going to distribute first. We get 2/3 n minus, well, we multiply our numerators, we get 12 on top and a 3 on the bottom. Over here, we have 5n minus 43 still. Now looking at our coefficients, 2/3 is smaller than 5. So we're going to subtract 2/3 n from the left side. And when I rewrite this, I'm just going to simplify this to -4, because that's what -12 divided by 3 is. And over off to the side, I'm going to do this coefficient subtraction. Oops. So we need common denominators before we can subtract. And that means I can just multiply 5/3 or 5, excuse me, times 3/3, which is the same as 1. So I'm not changing the value. And I'm just going to rewrite that as 15/3. Now 15/3 minus 2/3, we can see is 13/3. So now that I have my answer for my coefficient when I subtracted 5 and 2/3, I'm going to write that over here, 13/3 n, and bring down the -43. Now we're going to add 43 to both sides. 39 equals 13/3 n. Now, because my coefficient is a fraction and we need to separate it to isolate the variable, I'm going to undo that multiplication with by multiplying by the reciprocal, right? So that's going to give us a 1 n, or just n, because these are going to cancel out to 1. And I want to remind you, the reason why is because if you do this, if you do 13 times 3, you're going to get 39. Well, it's the same on the bottom, 13 times 3, only written different. So what is 39/39? It's 1. Okay, on the other side, we need to multiply by 3/13. And we end up getting 117/13. And when we simplify that, it becomes 9. 117 divided by 13 is 9. So we have n equals 9. And then you can go back in and check it, plug your values in for n, put 9s, and then it will check out. That one is correct. Okay. Let's do one more. So we're going to we'll do this decimal here. So 1/2 times the quantity x minus 12, add 2, that equals 1¼ times x plus 8 minus 9½. So we don't have any like terms that we can combine yet. So we're going to rewrite this without the parentheses using the distributive property. Get 1/2 x, half of -12 is -6, and then bring down the +2. Over here, we're going to have 1.25x, and 1.25 or 1¼ of 8 is going to give us 10. We bring down the -9½. So we distributed both times and rewrote it. Now we want to look at combining like terms. Well, I can put -6 and 2 together to get -4, and I bring down my -1/2 x. And over here, we can add or put together the 10 and the -5, and that's going to give us 1/2. Now I want to get my variable terms on the same side. I look at my coefficients, and 1/2 is smaller than 1.25. So this is the one that I'm going to undo. Over on the left, we still have -4, and on the right, we now have 75/100 x. Let's subtract our 1/2. We want that constant off of that side. We get 4½ negative. Oh, I almost forgot the negative. -4½ equals 75/100 x. And final step, we're going to divide both sides to undo the division. And we're going to get -6. So you're going to do some practice now on your own. Make sure you're looking at your notes and you have made sense of what you wrote. And bring up any questions you have next time we're in class.